When React became first popular, the recommendation from the core team was to make your forms completely controlled. Every input field had a corresponding React state attached to it. Every keystroke triggered a state update. React was responsible for managing your entire form. Over the years, though, this approach has evolved. Today, with React 19 and the useActionState hook it provides, we are seeing a significant shift in this mindset. So let's talk about how forms are handled before the release of React 19. In the early hooks era, a form is handled by useState and useEffect primarily, right? Every field in a form has a useState hook attached to it. Every change you make in a field updates that useState hook's state. In this way, the React was in complete control of that form. Anything you change in the field of a form, React would know about it, and thereby it can handle the performance of that form. This gave developer the flexibility to handle the form state, but it also added a lot of boilerplate. As time passed and forms started becoming more complex, developers started shifting their logic from component to its own custom hook. Eventually, libraries like React Hook Form became popular, which handled all of this logic state, validations, and other cases that forms might have. The code definitely became cleaner due to this, but the underlying philosophy stayed the same. At this point, React is handling all of its state management. It just found a better abstraction and managed to keep the code base cleaner by extracting everything into a custom hook. With the release of React 19, React has taken a different approach. It changed its mindset. Instead of thinking, let's control the entire form, React 19 decided to let go of the state for its form fields. React decided, why not let the browser handle this form state and I will only care about the form submit. What are the advantages of this? Now, previously, React had to track everything that happened in a form view. With React 19, it doesn't care about this form fields and all it is caring about the form submit, which means that any change to the form is being handled by the browser, which means the whole form is now browser native, which makes it way more performant. So when you start typing into a form, the changes to that form field is tracked by your browser instead of React. And when you submit the form, that's when React decides to intercept that action and then collect the state and then process it forward. How does it do it? React 19 gives you useActionState, which lets you manage the form state efficiently. Now, this hook only asks you to give it the action which you want to attach to a form submit. In return, it will give you the processed form action with the form state and an additional Boolean flag to let you know if a form is in action or not. So what are the advantages of that? So this custom hook takes an action from you, registers it into its memory, gives it back to you along with an initialized form state and an is pending state. So you take this registered form action, attach it to your form submit, and then you have your form state initialized. So the interesting part is not the hook itself. The interesting part is the React's mindset. React has moved from let me control the entire form to let the browser do its job and I will only care about the action. It is thinking like, okay, eventually the form is going to have an action. I will interfere then and collect the state and do what I need to do further. Now, this mindset shift is important because this lets your form be browser native the way it is intended. Because it's browser native, it will be way more performant and doesn't have to rely on a third-party library for its functioning. For me, this is one of the most interesting changes in React version 19. Not because we are getting a new hook to handle forms, but because it signals a shift towards web platform and its browser native capabilities. I would be interested to know what you think about these new changes. Are you trying to implement your forms using useActionState? And what do you think about the latest React 19 release?